Pioneer 1770 NEX. If you have one of these units and thinking about bypassing it, you have to add a switch to the remote signal out. That way you're not having the bypass come on as it loads up. Compared to the old units, this thing is loading up a little bit longer than normal, so the bypass has already did its thing as it loads up. So what you have to do is add an on and on switch to the remote signal, and then right now it's on the off position. Once everything loads up, turn it on, and you'll see the Bluetooth setting illuminate. That pretty much tells you that it's bypassed. There it is. That's done. After you get all your wires pretty much ready, I extended the reverse signal that's going to go to the kick panel, which I'll also show that. I already got the switch all pretty much taped up. The only thing that you will need on this one is the reverse camera in harness. The rest is pretty much unused, but you will still need the USB, the mic, and things like that. But yeah, this is the one that you're going to need so far. Little on and off switch and extending the reverse signal for the kick panel, and then we'll move on to the car. Moving on to the car side, there's quite a bit of videos on how to take apart this dash. This just pops off, and then this whole trim bezel just pops off. This one pops off, this whole black part, this pops off. And I'm thinking about putting the switch right here once I see what the back of it looks like. But like I said, I'll still show you how to take it apart once I take it apart, because I need both of my hands for this one. But all you're gonna need is some popper removers and a 10mm to take the radio off, and that's pretty much all you need. So what you have to do for this one, like I said before, pop this off. Just put a trim panel in between. Once you get that pop off, you're gonna remove 2 plugs. Go ahead and put that in the back seat, that way you don't end up damaging it accidental. Same goes with this centerpiece right here. You start off in here and kind of work your way up, and this is what it's going to look like removed. Like I said, just kind of be careful, work your way up. Don't try to just pull on it, yank on it with all your force. Once that thing is off, same goes here. Start on the corner, work your way up all around, and this whole thing pops off. And you're also going to remove the push button bezel. I believe this just pops off as well, but I'm pretty sure it does. Just use your panel remover right here, and then after that I'll show you how to take the actual radio off. Once you get all the panels off, as you can see, I took off the push button too. Just move it aside. There'll be 10mm right here, right here, right here, and right here, and just pretty much pull the radio towards you, and that would take care of that. First, you got to run the mic all the way up top here. Just kind of goes in between the pillar and the headliner. Pull this weather edging, run your wire all the way down, go in here. That's where it's going to come out. So just keep that dangling for now. And then you do have to remove the door sill and the kick panel. Nothing but clips, with the exception of where it meets right here. Oop. You do have to take this off and then pull the kick panel this way to the side. As you can already see, I had to take this panel off. Once you take the kick panel off, it'll expose one screw right here. You don't really have to take it off, but I did anyway. I thought it was being held from this, but here's the panel. Let's show you real quick. That's the kick panel. Here's the panel right here. As you can see, there's a screw hole right there, so you got to take that one off. Nothing but a Phillips head. And also this panel right here has to come off. 2 Phillips head right here and right here, and then there's like a little clip that you have to push and then just kind of leave that hanging. The only reason why I do this is just so I can see exactly where I'm running the wires. That way I know I'm not hitting anything. So yeah, just go ahead and take all that off. We're going to be running the backup camera along with the mic input, and then the extended wire for the reverse trigger to go back to the kick panel, and that should take care of running it in here. And then pretty much everything left is going to the back. So here's what I have so far as running it. I zip tied it to that little harness right there and put a little bit of split loom, zip tied right there, and then right here. And then once you pop it in, you'll notice that I can put it right there. Tuck it into the side, that way it's not getting pinched, and you won't even really see that split loom once everything is put back together. So far that's what I have. Run everything here. This is obviously, I'm gonna zip tie it somewhere in here so everything will be clean, but you can run it however you desire, but that's kind of just how I do mine. Split loom doesn't really hurt that much to add, so might as well do it if you have it. If you don't, wrap it in tape. Same purpose, same result. Here's the reverse wire that you need to tap into. I'll show you the exact pin. It's this one right here. Put a pointer at it. It's this location right here. This red one. Got that in wired up. Gonna zip tie that, and that takes care of the signal. Now that you got everything kind of almost done, here's where I was running the camera. You're gonna run it along the channel right here. So obviously pop this off. Just like how you ran this. Pop this off and then run it along all the way to the back. The paneling on the back is kind of tricky, but I will show you which in order that you need to take this out. You need to take out the piece right here that goes on closer to the inside, which is that one right here. Then you're gonna pop off both sides. That goes both sides. And then you have to take off the piece that goes right here, which is this bigger piece right here. Now you're gonna have to apply a little bit of force on that one since that one's pretty tight. And then the last piece is the one that goes right here, which is this one. And everything is just kind of held by clips, so try not to like do too much, but at the same time you still have to put a little bit of force in it. So, but yeah, other than that, that's the in order on how to take this panel apart. So we already ran everything to the side panels, and you're gonna come up in here, and then you're gonna end up having to run it inside this grommet. That way it's gonna be protected from the weather and from the water itself. And then we're gonna run it all the way to the top, and that should take care of running the wire close to the license plate area. Quick tip on this one, this is a pretty tight grommet, so you're gonna have to see if this thing would work. You're gonna have to slowly move it in here and there just to hopefully it fits. However, if you spray a little bit of penetrating lubricant inside, it'll make it kind of glide a little bit better, so it's not direct dry rubbing or this part is just cutting or things like that. So just give it a little bit of lubrication and then slowly work it in, and hopefully this thing works, because I don't really want to cut anything that would compromise the rubber boot. So we'll see if this one works. So far that lubricant did help, so that's a good thing. So now we're going to try to feed this thing in there, and hopefully that slides in just as easy as the first part. For the next step, you have to take off this trim bezel right here. There will be 4 bolts. Be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then on 2 sides, it'll have just pop off clips. So just kind of use your pry tool again and slowly pop it off. This is what it would look like once it's all completely out. And make sure you unplug the trunk button, and that's pretty much it. Put this aside, that way you don't damage it. I'll just put it on the grass, and then nobody's gonna be there anyway, so that should be fine. But we're gonna be drilling a small hole as well to let the wire run through. I already got all the wires pretty much ran how it should be. Zip tie it all along, and then you want to stop here. This is where your ground's gonna be. Alright, we're moving on to mounting the camera at the location. The piece where you're gonna mount it, it actually just pops off from the bezel, and the crux kit does come with a hole saw specifically for this application, so just use that. Cut a hole. Try to measure as much as you can. As you can see, I had to make sure these clips doesn't get damaged, as it's what holds it in the bezel. So yeah, drill that hole, insert it. This is the locking nut, and make sure you put the foam deal as a seal, and I'll show you what that looks like once it's all installed. So pretty much the camera is going to be around here, so what you're going to have to do is drill a hole and put a grommet around it. That way it doesn't scratch it or damage the wire. This is also going to be sealed from the other side once I have the wire pretty much in there, but for now that's what you need to do. Like I said, this is the right way of doing it. Just make sure you put a silicone once pretty much the camera ran, and then that pretty much concludes this whole part. Then you can go ahead and put back the trim bezel. Since you already tapped in the reverse signal in the kick panel, you will no longer need this red wire from the camera itself. However, you do need to ground it in one of these bolts. So just go ahead and zip tie everything and make sure you plug everything back in, license plate tag, and then you can just go ahead and zip tie this securely. Make sure you put heat shrink just to protect it, but other than that, this is pretty much concludes the rear view camera. Here's pretty much how the camera is. The line actually stops at the bumper, the red line for the guide, and then the orange or the yellow, and then the green. So this one actually looks pretty OEM. So that's how it look once you have everything mounted. Pretty much time to put back together the interior and then send this way home. Before I put everything back together, I just wanted to show you that here it is. Just kind of zip tie everything in place, make sure everything is secured. Here's the wire that's going underneath, Tessa taped. Yeah, just go ahead and put this back together, screw it in, call the customer, and that's pretty much it for this one. Here's the finishing touch. Got the USB, it's going to be placed in the middle. The switch is also placed right there, so there's no drilling holes. So, little bypass action. Other than that, this is pretty much done. Thank God, it took a little bit longer than I expected, but to do it right, it does take time. So I'm going to go ahead and test everything. But so far, the radio is pretty much functioning like normal. So you can see everything is on. Let me test out. Right now, obviously it's on bypass currently, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so far so good. I'm going to be testing out the CarPlay, the Bluetooth, and things like that. Once everything is completed, that's pretty much it.